Canada, there's something smoking new at Montana's. Beef brisket is now seasoned and then slow smoked in-house for 12 hours every day. Try it in our new Austin cheesesteak sandwich and other barbecue favorites. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
How far do you have to travel to have
A very pleasant good day, and welcome to the North Bay Granite Club. It's the finals of the Montana's North Bay Doubles. Teams have been working all weekend to get to this point, and we're down to these two squads. We have Heather and Cory Heggestad versus Wes Forget and Kira Brunton. I'm Dave Schmell. I'm joined by Marty Thompson. And Marty, we've had some good curling so far this weekend.
Yeah, we've had the ice here in North Bay has been curling quite a lot, which is great to see. The conditions have, it's obviously hard to see when you're not exactly there, but the conditions have been quite good for this discipline, which is key to that. And we've also had some really good shot making, especially from these two teams. I know we'll get into the semifinal specifically for this team here throwing here with Wes Forget kicking off his first stone of this end. But also some really good shooting from Heggestad as well. This team has been around the circuit for a little bit, and they've been playing quite well. So excited to see these two teams here for sure.
Absolutely. Now, I haven't had a chance to see the Heggestads play this weekend, but I understand you have a good amount of experience with them.
A little bit. We played them the odd time on tour, and yeah, they're really good throwers. We see Cory there getting set. Really good at throwing that really nice kind of control, like really soft hit weight. That's quite important in doubles, but also not shying away from throwing the big weight when necessary. So we do see the Heggestads here with a nice little pocket to draw in here. So Cory getting a good chance to get kind of his sea legs under him for draw weight. But yeah, this is a team that is quite good. But when you look at the Kira Brunton and Wes Forget team, I mean, you've got Breyer and Scotty's appearances there, and quite recent ones at that. So yeah, I mean, this is a very much a doubles specific team that's throwing here now with the Heggestads versus a team that obviously has a lot of proficiency in the four-person.
And we see this going to come on into this pocket and just kind of shipping both the Blues around a little bit. And they lie shots down on the back of the button.
Yeah, that was a nice little weight. You had some tolerance there just to throw something at it and get a nice little move over in towards the middle. Just being behind the pin isn't obviously the best shot in doubles for sure, but it's still a good little shape here for the Heggestads coming into this middle three here. We see Wes Forget getting set. Now I know you watched the semifinal of these two teams here and how they got in. Heck of a shot there from Kira Brunton to bring that out. I mean, there was that double off of the forefoot there. Quite a shot in the semis to get them here.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, if you were hopefully watching us on Curling Stadium, Jim Nix and I had that, and it was definitely a shot and a half. I saw that it was possibly there. Jim wasn't completely sold on it, but they threw it, called it, and made it. So it was unbelievable, and it was just really by maybe like a centimeter they were shot rock.
Sometimes that's a big enough margin in this discipline for sure. Speaking of which, as they sort of peer over the two rocks here in in the button. Obviously hard to tell exactly how accurately these cameras are exactly over the pin, but blue still certainly in a good position, being above the tee line in this situation. At the top of the stack is always kind of what you're looking for, and being above the tee generally is just going to allow you to have that sort of bump up option. For the Heggestads, something to watch out for in this game is, the rocks have been kind of curling. You get that kind of that half pipe that ice makers like to have for doubles sometimes. That'll also allow you to play some kind of decent weight to chip rocks out that are fully buried. So you see out of that perspective there, as we're looking from the Heggestad's perspective, looking towards the hack, like that blue rock, you can certainly kick out sideways with a little bit of weight for sure, with how much the rocks have been curling this weekend. So that might be the call here from Cory.
And we see those camera angles being brought to us by our engineer, Olivier Bonin-Deschamps. So we thank him for providing all that switching for us. And we see we just skinny past that guard, and we'll shimmy him around just a little bit.
And you see how much granite it moved at the back, and it over curled. So again, that just shows you that once you're able to kind of master how much these rocks are moving, you are able to play that kind of that back, heavy draw weight and really get good options and good action off of those rocks that otherwise, when you're playing, in a club that has a little duller ice, you can't quite get to something that's fully buried and get something really, really nice. So just something to watch out for as the teams get adjusted a little bit too. This will be the first game that they played where there's no other games on the ice in the club. So conditions might be slightly different as well. Something to keep in mind.
So here we see Wes Forget settling in. He's gonna bring this guy in. Good for a corner freeze, I think I saw.
Yeah, this is a good side to attack too. If you can get the corner freeze, you're going to see Cory want to be able to keep this rock out a little bit, because you can see that even though you're almost in the 12-foot from our perspective there, you really want to make sure you get it out. Could have also played the guard here. Maybe Wes isn't too thrilled that was light, but maybe the call was to actually throw or maybe the tolerance would be to throw a guard, just protect that shot stone, let the Heggestads kind of go after it, because right now they'd be tempted to, considering they have 2 in the 4-foot. So yeah, maybe let them try to do a tough shot.
Well, you certainly want to always try to score at least 2 with your hammer in this discipline. Anytime you can, the force is even more of a win for the team without.
Mm-hmm.
And you do see that it's Brunton and Forget line the shots down there, so they had to find a way to get in there. So what do you think that Cory has drawn up here?
Well, it might be, it's funny to see where this is Cory's last. So after this is going to be back to the anchor position, throwing stones. I'd almost be tempted to just start guarding this and give him the 1 and move on. It's one of those things where giving up 1 in doubles isn't necessarily the worst. It's sometimes can be comparable to sort of giving up a blank in 4 person, where you just kind of sort of kick it along, like in skins. You're almost kind of like a carryover scenario. They are going to go after the reds, which is a good call for sure. Just got to get by this blue one. It looks pretty tight. Yeah, just nicked
Just wicked it, but still going to curl in on the way in. Comes far enough that's probably not a threat to shot rock.
Interesting. Does blue go there first? Yeah, I think they do. That's an interesting call here for Brunton and Forget. Just that hit and roll, you could be sitting 2 and give Heather Heggestad on her last a really ugly pocket to draw into, right? Like, you make that perfect, that nice little hit and roll. You don't even need to move that red that's at the back of the button much, but that would be a really, really tough drawing.
So you're looking to sit 2 right now and go for a big steal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Two's pretty solid, right?
Oh yeah, all day.
Yeah, I think you just hit that with a bit of weight, and that's the thing too with that hit that Kira Brunton made in the semifinal. Like, you can really move some granite on this one with a nice solid, normal up. just make sure you get enough action and even kick that red rock out there. So, yeah, really good opportunity here from this team here without Hammer, and missed that draw to the button there to start the game. At this level, it's both players, so I guess all 4 players technically on the sheet get that draw to the button, and then it's the calculated score across all 4. So they sadly missed out on that, but the Heggestads are quite a talented drawing team. But this is a talented hitting team, so we'll see what they can do here on their last of this end.
Yeah, we should have a very interesting bit of yin and yang as we go on here. Now, as I look at this shot, Marty, I kind of wonder if you might end up giving them an angle into your own rock if you leave this in the wrong spot.
Yeah, you just got to make sure you get to the inside edge. That should be okay, though. Oh, they're going to carve it. Just to be sure, they should have enough movement. Yeah, it does. Really nice spot.
And they lie too, and the Heggestads are facing 2 with their last.
Yeah, that's an ugly one. Do you see anything else that's not just trying to, just hit this blue out and give them their 1?
I think that's where this end's been going for the last 5 rocks. So,
and that's the thing, right? Where the people who are new to doubles, like throwing up guards and giving them their 1 kind of seems like a little counterintuitive. It doesn't seem like it's totally a natural thing, but as you've already pointed out, that's kind of where the whole end was going this whole time. So, yeah, the kind of result you ended up getting, but unfortunately for the Heggestads, it's a difficult way to give them just that 1,
Well, yeah, you felt like you had something cooking for a while, but then it's taken away from you. And in the first end, it's easy to have a mindset saying, hey, I just lost a coin toss and I forced the other team, so I don't worry about it. So final rack of the first end on the way. Heather Heggestad just looking to cut it down.
Looks like this might be curling a little bit on them.
They got it just fine.
Nice.
It'll be a single point for Brunton and Forget. They take the early advantage. We'll come back right to this. You're watching Curling Stadium.
Hey Canada, head on down to Montana's for our 50-day aged 7-ounce sirloin flame grilled with 2 sides and onion rings, all for just $25.99 every day. Premium steak without a premium price, only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Swiss Chalet's festive special is back.
Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
Surrounded by beauty on every side, this is a place where you can get away from it all. Or be right there in the center of everything. Arts, sports, entertainment, a vibrant culture. This is North Bay, and it is exactly where I want to be.
And we're back here in the second end from the North Bay Granite Club. It's the Montana's North Bay doubles. 16 teams have come together on this weekend, and we're down to just 2. You're watching Curling Stadium at Dave Schmel, Marty Thompson. Happy that you've joined us. We've had action for you all weekend. If you've been watching maybe some of the slams this week, everything that's been happening and all these other spiels is archived on our YouTube channel. You can check it out and keep yourself occupied and be completely unproductive at work this week.
You see how much Heather Heggestad just curled across and almost gave them a bad shape on the other side of the forefoot. So again, just gives you some more context for exactly how much motion we're getting on these rocks out here, which is great once you master it. But yeah, awfully tight to that guard. ticking the guard wouldn't be the worst considering what the back four looks like for this team. But yeah, just getting a ton of motion on those draws, and yeah, you already see they're just trying to maybe scooch this broom out even slightly. It wouldn't surprise me if 4J is actually going to throw like a back-ish weight into this. I know you can't remove any rocks, but just considering where this broom is, might be just kind of like a little tap up.
Yeah, it's definitely a different scenario with the not being able to remove stones at all.
Yeah, but once you kind of get that like top four weight and you're feeling it, or even if the ice is very sweepable, you're able to sort of keep that momentum for a little bit longer. In this case, considering the shape they have in the forefoot, it's kind of worth it just to bump it up. Make sure that you can push this red rock back. Now it's going to curl too much on them as well.
Yeah, you want to really make sure you stayed on it for a piece of it. And now, just like that, it goes back to advantage Heggestad's now.
Yeah, it just kind of worth it just to kind of throw something that, shoves their rocks behind the tee line. If you're above, you're in good shape. So, right idea. The execution, again, it just curled a lot on them. Again, it might be different for this draw, or obviously something we saw for the whole spiel, but lots of options to be had here. And the Heggestads are going to be looking at those two blue rocks. You can maybe just sort of bump that back and see if you can't, at least have one red above the tee, but maybe even get some movement on those blues, no?
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea. Just then you're going to set up a little bit of a wall that your stones get caught by for the rest of the end.
And you're thinking, tolerance, right? It's like you kind of want to be, okay, if I throw this a little bit heavier, it probably won't hurt us, and, just getting that little tap is good. The Heggestads are also unique in that, you have somebody, well, I guess not, depends who you ask, but they have, the caller, you see the line caller here with Cory calling from behind. You don't get exactly see kind of the broom and stuff they're taking, but it looks like this might actually over-curl on them and actually not touching that red back. Let's see. That's a good shape, though. That's a really good shape. Sitting two, it looks like.
Yeah, they are sitting two. That's been, like you said, it's a good shot. But at the same time, we're going to counter it from the other side. It's always a yin and yang, Hatfields versus McCoy's type situation. Just trying to make sure you're in the best position at the end.
And Brunton 4J electing to draw on the intern side. Kind of ugly looking with those two red rocks, but I think I understand their methodology. Looks like maybe just a hair less ice, so wouldn't surprise me if it's closer to that back four, back eight, and just bump that red that's at the top of those two staggers and see if you can't get a little bit of separation, and then most importantly, have a blue that's in the top four.
Yeah, we see how much swing we have, so now Wes is there with it, and this one needs to go just a little bit, but now it really takes that curl. Going to try to help it over. If it gets there, it's going to be in a beautiful spot. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, that's quite good. Having the broom down, maybe they were a little surprised at how much it hung out. It didn't seem like it was a whole ton of weight considering he carved it and maybe took a little bit of weight off of it. Still a good place, though. I don't think that they're like too thrilled about it, but that's still a really good location. You see the Heggestads almost looking at that, like having to play off that blue, corner freeze, do something ugly to it. It's not a nice place for that rock for the Heggestads. That is still a really annoying spot when now you're trying to figure out how do we expand the scoring area, how do we activate even that one that's sort of on the forefoot there on the right-hand side of our screen if you're looking in the right pane. How do you start to activate these other red rocks or try to think about trying to get two?
I think you start that by kind of playing a straight tap on the blue, move your red onto that blue that's sitting second shot right now. And that's going to line it up so it always is going through that hole.
Mm-hmm.
And your rock is always staying.
You make that move, and then you kind of do end up giving up the forefoot, and you give up that, you give up the pin for the draw. You know, it's I kind of like that. I think they were maybe looking at that corner freeze on the blue, and then maybe trying to see if they can't, or like come to it in like maybe not a ton of weight, and see if they can't come at it later. It's Cory's second. It looks like it might actually be maybe that's sort of that same backish weight. We'll see what they can kind of pull off of here. Might be a tighter line than the last one for Forget.
Tighter line, but going to end up right up on the face, maybe even just a skosh across. You're going to get a little tap on it, almost weld your red onto the blue. And now you apply any kind of weight on it. Thanks, Olivier. If you apply any kind of weight on it, that blue's going to go right on out, and your red's now going to be in play. So that's a good thought there. Just make that one go away so it can never score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. That's a good idea to try to hit that. But I think there may be just Forget just indicated just sort of drawing in. That's another good one too. So if you do that, then
if you leave it right there where the broom is,
you're making the in-turn really ugly for the Heggestads. They would maybe even honestly be tempted to guard that because they know that you're one hit away, you know, on Brunson Forget on their last shot, or one hit away from being able to sit potentially 3. So then they guard, and then you just force them to 1 and get the hammer back. So if you make that perfect, it's a really good spot.
Oh, we're definitely seeing some good shooting early on here.
Unless they're seeing this hit too, which, yeah. He's maybe thinking he could even get to that red rock that's on the button.
It's certainly gettable, and might even be. Oh boy!
I think that's what they're trying. Yeah, I mean, if you make this, you feel like a god. Like you could be sitting 2 pretty nice. So, big shot here from Wes. He can throw some big weight.
So Wes Brunton. It's going to come on down. That's the curl up just a hair, and you get them both. Yours goes out the side, but who cares? You're lying too.
Well, West Forget's feeling like a god right now. That was quite a shot. Like, you just see how slim that was from that left pane. Here we go. We'll see it again. So slim. But smart call. Saw it from the hack and was like, you know what? I can see a little bit of that rock. Let's try it.
Well, and even if he didn't get there, as long as he didn't wreck in the middle on the way, hitting the one in the back was fine.
Wow, that's such a nice shot. So now, and then you're really putting the pressure on the other team here. For the Heggestads, it's, you know, cold draw. In this case, the out turn side is more favorable for sure. So you're getting them to sort of draw on this side. We haven't, I'm not mistaken, we haven't had a ton of rocks go down here, but make them draw on the out turn, which, you know, might not be Cory's favorite, not sure, but, you know, make them try something that, you know, you might force a miss out of them, and then you can draw in potentially for 3 if it is. So yeah, really key shot here in the second end already. This team's been playing quite well. The Heggestads do have a chance to bail out here with a clutch draw right to the button.
So Cory Heggestad looking to find the button. Find it right now. If you don't, you might not ever be able to find it again.
Sweeping it right away and maybe pushed it out a hair, but I think it needs it for weight.
This is not heavy. That is far lighter than the intended target.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Most of the rocks coming down here have been interns, right? In this end?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was just like a colder half of the sheet, which, but if you're the Heggestads, you kind of have to draw on that side because you just see that big pocket you have in behind. You know, it just seems like it's a more natural draw. So yeah, that's a difficult miss for the Heggestads, but it's also, you know, Brunton Forget kind of made you play it. So tough break, and now we see here Brunton on her last stone of this end really put the pressure on. If they're able to meld one in here to the button, the Heggestads might have to run something.
And you talk about the colder side of the sheet. That's something that's even more amplified in doubles, because not only are you throwing less stones, you have less people even skating up and down the ice.
Good point. Yep. And in this case, there's only 4 people in the entire ice shed. So it's the effects are going to be even more amplified to that point. So.
So Kara Brunton with her last. Looking to throw a guard on the draw path, I believe.
Yeah, that's the smart call. Coming across center is interesting. Just maybe trying to see. They're maybe trying to see what it'll do. Oh, that came out, but that actually might take away the draw because it's awfully wide. But
it's right on the draw path.
Yeah, that's going to take it away. I'm wondering if they maybe did that way just to sort of see what it would do over the center line.
Another thing is we've been seeing it curl so much there. It's almost tough to hold one out there if you were to throw the intern on it. So what do they have here?
Well, I think it's that red run. Ugly, but like you could kind of get in there somehow, do something. I just wanted to say, I'm sounding really optimistic, aren't I? This is my doubles tone coming out in a big way. I was just going to say that something else that's been quite nice for what I've seen so far at North Bay, and maybe the players can correct me on this or not, but just seeing that draw come across center was good. Like, you know, the ice is certainly dished, you know, the rocks really curl in, but I haven't seen nothing crazy over the center line. Sometimes you'll have these events where the center line will give you something different on hits, but it has been running consistent through the middle, which is good.
So final on the second end. Heather Heggestad on a wing and a prayer here.
Could maybe get away going around the world if you hit it dead nose.
Try to run it. It's going to over curl, and that's going to be a steal of 2 for Forget and Brunton, and they take a 3-0 lead here early. We'll be back right to this on Curling Stadium.
Hey Canada, there's something smoking new at Montana's. Beef brisket is now seasoned and then slow smoked in-house for 12 hours every day. Try it in our new Austin cheesesteak sandwich and other barbecue favorites. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Join us this March for the House of Hearts Charity Bonspiel in Duluth, Minnesota. Help raise funds for Project Joy, who provides meals for hungry kids in our community. Every donation helps to ensure no child goes hungry. Join us and make a difference. Together, we can spread joy.
How far do you have to travel to have an experience that's truly northern? Not as far as you might think. North Bay, Ontario. Truly northern experiences are closer than you think. Visit tourismnorthbay.com.
Welcome back to the North Bay Granite Club. It's the Heggestads facing a 3-0 deficit here early on. They have the hammer. The first draw came on down and is frozen onto the back 4. Looking to put one of their own there now.
This one's running a little bit on them. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit up weight for sure. Chisel out that blue, and that might be, yeah, okay, it's not ideal, but still it's in there. Yeah, that draw weight is so crucial on the first one. We even saw, you know, Kira on her first, you know, just being a little bit heavy. You know, if you're able to get right to the pin, if you're top 4, that's ideal. Coming back to the back one, that's okay. But, you know, you really should be, if you're throwing that first stone at the end, looking to get that sweet spot where you're shot, but you're above the tee line. So both anchor positions here, just dialing in the draw weight, I think, a little bit.
So now the pendulum swings over to West Forget. And they're looking to put one in the top 4 because always a good place to be. Anytime you have those control rocks, especially in the doubles discipline, you're in a far better shape.
They're drawing the out-turn side. Even with their blue on the in-turn. See how much this curls.
Well, the first end, a lot of the play went in this direction. So they've had the ability to watch the line a few times, and I think it was a pretty good choice.
Yeah, no kidding. That's just about a perfect draw, eh? You know, you put the other team in a position where it's hard to, kind of hard to hit them. I was just going to say, if you did the out-turn side and you were ever wide for some reason, they might have some kind of hit. But, yeah, that's a really tidy spot. See some kidding around there on the ice. I think that just could have been quite a nice draw for Forget and Brunton, and the Heggestads really having to take a look and think about how they're going to approach this. So come off that blue one that was just thrown on the out-turn side, eh? Dave, that's what it looks like?
That is what it appears to call, and it's already on the way from Cory with the old lifter delivery. It's going to have to hurry to be around the guards. Around it, no problem now. It looks like Cory's rocks run a little bit more than Forget's and Brunton's.
That's something to watch for sure. Yeah, it looks like Forget's first thought is to come in there, and you could maybe even bump that red rock back, and then you're in a position where, it kind of seems silly to be going after a rock behind the tee line, but if you can bump it back, the Heggestads might have to look at like throwing like a couple doubles or a triple to activate any of those red rocks, and then you'll also be hitting. So I don't mind just coming back to that red one and bumping it back, but it looks like they want to just throw the same draw they just did, which is also smart for obvious reasons, and keep control of that front.
I mean, you do have to pay attention to that on that right side as we're looking at the overhead. You can double off those blues relatively easily right now. So something else that's going to count is a good idea.
Again, just an example of how important those top 4 rocks are. The one that Forget threw, the first of his end here, was the one that's now sitting edge of 4 that's shot, right? It's difficult when you put it in the right spot for the team to attack it and not, just leave it as shot on one of the sides. So a really good attempt. Now this looks like it's running on them. They might have to come back to the red one.
And now it takes the curl. It's just probably like back line weight or even just through. That's a pretty good outcome, Marty.
Yeah, because I think the Heggestads are just, I think they're looking at the draw. The hits are kind of, it doesn't look too good, does it? Like,
oh, I mean, you might be able to make the double on those blues that like Cory just motioned. It's not an easy one though, for sure.
Yeah, you come down the in-turn side, you're just gonna potentially just jam that blue into that red at the back, and then you might make that roll, but if you roll big, then they're back in control. I think you do need to sort of do some kind of hit and flop or a draw. Maybe I'd be tempted to throw like a heavy draw, and you could sort of wick off of that blue and still make it into the button area or pin.
Well, I think I'd probably want to move it a good deal, just because I wanted to reduce the number of rocks I had to move to score a multiple still.
Yeah,
if I ever have any chance of making those ones in the 8-foot come in. So Cory on the way with his second. This is like a pretty solid control weight here. Gonna get the one, move the second one, lose his out the side, and it leaves Forget and Brunton line 2. And they're thinking go right back to the top 4. I can't blame him.
Yeah, just sort of get back in and control that. Always nice when your middle three can throw at least a similar shot. I think it was maybe didn't anticipate throwing that sort of backline weight, but throw that top four again, just like you did, and get in that rhythm and yeah, really put the pressure on. But I think most importantly in doubles, it's key to get a good look at a variety of shots and get that feel for the ice and get a sense for what it's going to do. And it's really crucial for that middle three to have that. So to get 3 similar draws in a row is quite useful for this team, and obviously they're in a good position right now.
So the final for Jay on the way. Just looks like it hangs there for a while. Then it really, once it decides to go, it goes.
You just see how much movement's on there.
And it's almost like he's done that one before.
Now that I think about it, Dave, I think he has. Really nice draw. Great location for that rock. Yeah, they're certainly applying the pressure on the Heggestads here in this final. Oh boy.
So, how do you get out of dodge here?
Yeah, good question. I'd be tempted to just try a wide draw on either side, and can't see if you get somewhere in between the pin and those sort of back wall of rocks. Maybe focus on just giving them one, but if you can get in a good place, hopefully you can be shot back there somewhere, but just try the draw. See if you can't get in there. Make sure that you keep it wide. Keep it out there for sure. Just knowing how much it's going to cut, you almost want the rock traveling, as it's coming across the tee line, edge button or something. Just try to see if you can get in there and yeah, again, good chance to get that draw weight. You have a tolerance on the heavier side. Sweeping right out of Cory's hand here. Maybe keeping it wide. Yeah, this does not look wide at all.
This is going to get really close to that guard. Not going to leave much room for imagination. No, and there it went.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was exactly what the kind of tolerance they were looking for. Obviously, that wasn't the desired outcome, but yeah, just a little tight on it. And yeah, I think you put the guard back. It just depends on what you want to protect. So you see where that blue rock ended up. It might have taken that. I guess it wouldn't have taken the draw path entirely away on the out turn side if we're looking here on the left pane of our screen. But yeah, you put the guard up, eliminate that potential run back, and or at least try to make it a little bit harder. And you're certainly in control here through the first 2, but this third end is also shaping up quite well here for Brunton Forget.
I wouldn't be so mad if just freezing onto my own right now either. If I could nose it.
That's a good point. Yep.
And what do they do?
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think if you do freeze on top of it, then it doesn't change. They're gonna have they'll have this run no matter what. Like they could always just try to run the blue. But if you put it a little bit higher, I guess there's a greater chance for some kind of error. It might just be one of those tolerance things, right? Where it's like, let's just try to throw 3, and if it runs on us a little bit like this, you just come right to the face.
No, I'm going to take credit and say they were listening to me the whole time.
And they sit 4, yeah, right on the pin. Dave, you're right. You're right. No, you're right. We can all admit to say you're right, because I mean this is, and you're bang on, Dave. This is a much worse look for the Heggestads. You're giving the team a much worse, perspective in almost every way. If you're drawing or if you're doing it, I'm guessing from Kira's reaction, she didn't want to throw that weight, but great outcome. I mean, you played the tolerance a little bit, right?
Oh, absolutely. So, I mean, ways to get out of this. You had the ginormously difficult angle raise, or you throw with just maybe hack or throw this. You throw this double, I don't know if you're scoring.
Yeah, no, you're certainly not scoring. I think it's just to try to take them away a little bit, see what you can do. You're thinking about throwing that. I think you're playing your power play in your fourth, see if you can't sort of get that momentum swing a little bit back in your favor. But here's a good chance to also see what the rock does down the center line and learn what you can and move on to the next one.
Trailing by 3, facing 4. I'm not really concerned about a research project, but here we go. Final stone of end number 3 on the way from Heather Heggestad. Looking to.
This might be all right to get a couple.
Waiting, gonna get 1, 2, and 3 of them to go. That is a tremendous shot to only give up a steal of 1, and they'll trail by 4 with the hammer. Fourth end coming up right to this. You're watching Curling Stadium.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Swiss Chalet's festive special is back. Canada's favorite rotisserie chicken, cranberry sauce, stuffing, Lindor chocolates, and a scratch and win card where everyone's a winner. It's a tradition truly worth sharing. The festive special, only at Swiss Chalet.
And we're back here. It's end number 4, and the Heggestads are on the power play.
Yeah, that's the right call. Great tick here from Kira. A really good sweep I saw from West Forget just to keep that rock moving. Looked like it maybe like that kind of that. You can play it with a little bit of weight, a tick shot, and that might have been kind of where they're at. When I say a little bit more weight, it's kind of like that hackish, boardish weight. As long as you hit the right part of the rock, you're in good shape. But yeah, really nice tick to send that all the way across, because it puts the Heggestads in a position where they almost have to you're kind of now looking at a bit of a split, right? You're kind of like looking at a score of 2 in this end without much protection. So it looks like they're just going to draw right to it or right behind it.
Yeah, you're going to treat this almost like a junior split the house end.
Mm-hmm.
If you lock right on, that's pretty good. And your shot, not bad.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Now they're gonna draw down to shot rock, or can't remove anything quite yet.
Yeah, I think you look at the corner freeze. You're gonna have a chance to start whacking them. So yeah, that also makes sense. The only issue with this situation is like it's kind of like 4-person where it's like you're gonna have to start hitting these, or you're gonna prefer to start hitting them. So how do you frame this shot in this end to allow for those hits to be easier? Like that draw behind those 2 rocks that are on the right-hand side of our screen in the left pane, that makes a lot of sense until you're like, oh crap, maybe we actually want to start removing these reds, and maybe that's a potential jam option. So yeah, go ahead and put the score up. Makes sense. But then I guess you're just also thinking if you do corner freeze with this blue, you can just hit that, no problem. Hit any part of the blue rock and the red goes flying, and then you're in good shape. So I think this is the right call, knowing how they're going to approach this end and also playing the scoreboard.
Yeah, the freeze is really good now. Super awesome shot would just be to tap it into the coffin, but
Yeah, I know, right? Be ideal.
but that's not one that you want to say you're calling.
Can afford to bump this too.
As I said, they might just tap it right into the coffin. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, we got to make contact though. So that's outside the 8-foot. Okay, it's still a shot. That's important.
I'd imagine they thought that was going to curl a little bit more going inside out. I don't know if maybe he kind of got stuck on a part of the center, or he was aiming at a certain hack and it maybe just didn't quite get over as much. Because, yeah, it's funny where you're playing doubles and obviously you're one sweeper, you could just switch over to the other side. But Forger didn't even bother. I think he maybe just thought it was going to get to that point. But
okay, so now looks like the Heggestads are going to use their rack as a corner guard and draw underneath of it. I like that.
Yeah, considering where they're at, it's quite sound. Yeah, not a bad shape considering the team made their tick perfect, Dave. Like they're in a good shape right now. If you make this one good, you're going to be looking at a decent score and a decent showing in this power play.
Yeah, so I think it's important to make sure you're a little bit overburied, so there's no real run, and you'll probably see a little bit of a peel fest come after this, but you should be able to make 2, if not 3, out of this end. Important to get this all the way under, though. Even afford to be a little deep. But this needs to go. Well, maybe that was the call.
Yeah, just protect that one. That rock will end up being quite useful. No, they see just picking it right. Yeah, that makes sense. The only danger in this shot is that there is like the catcher at the other end of the house. Like they could end up just sending it right into the other blue. I would almost be tempted to hit and roll off of the set stone there that was at the top of the 8-foot. Then you get a big juicy roll across the house, and you could be sitting 2 and focus the play over there. But if you do make this shot, you're still in a good shape. But Heggestad will still be lying 1.
I know. I do say I like your shot choice there. A skosh better.
You just don't want this one catching anything. Oh, they're going to peel the guard. I see.
Oh, and a little unexpected outcome of sending it in across and taking out one of the Heggestad stones on the way.
Maybe that was intended. That makes a little bit more sense. That's why I was quite confused with the shot. That's an excellent one too, eh? Like, great outcome on it. Heggestad certainly are sitting 1, but you could smash that one, that red rock there. Or they do have one rather in the house, sorry. But yeah, that was an excellent shot there from West Forger. He's throwing the big weight quite well today for sure.
From where they put the broom, though, I don't think that was the call, buddy.
Hard to say. It's just you just saw his reaction to. I don't know. Yeah, I think there's the smiles there on the backboards. I'd imagine it wasn't, but just it almost seemed like it was meant to be. I know that his reaction sort of said otherwise, but
the smiles are. He had to, all of a sudden he realized he had to go catch a stone.
Yeah, that too. Oh, that's a nice little spot for that rock too.
That's a great place to be. So they lie shot stone, and now you're looking at a situation where they're going to start firing away at the shot rock, and you're probably going to get your 2 here as long as you keep it split. I don't see any way you're ever going to double them out ever.
Yeah, you can set your watch to a 2 in this end for sure. Just going to have that hit, and as 4J intimated, just sort of spill towards the center line, and then in that case, Heggestads might even just freeze on top of that, try to do something similar again. But yeah, this is.
You're hoping for a bit of a miss, and
certainly,
and then maybe get lucky and get a 3.
Yeah, certainly a possibility for a miss here on a shot like this, but throwing big weight, just got to get a touch of that red rock, and it should be enough to to make them all move.
And there they go. The sword of Damocles moves both stones.
For the Heggestads here, you don't really have a lot of room to hit and roll and still be shot, but that would be excellent if they could kind of get in behind cover and maybe force Kira to some sort of like run of the Reds. I think it just depends how greedy you want to be. I think there's a way in which you could throw that rock, have the shooter roll underneath, and try to force them to make a tougher shot, hoping they miss. But you also might not want to do that because they're quite good at throwing hits.
True, with the 4-0 lead, they're probably going to throw hit. You're correct. But if the game was a little bit closer, you'd be inviting them to throw a draw, and then they take the end away from you.
Good point. Yep. Yep, makes total sense.
Gotta make sure this gets down there. As long as it's shot rock, you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
But you just, now, if they can leave this 2 in a position where you can't make the double, now you just got forced. It would have been far more optimal to be all the way down to it. Almost, I think Marty, the safer call would have been just to hit it.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. Now you just have that kind of just get it out of there, keep that shooter around. Yeah, maybe Heather Heggestad has to play a double or something to sit, and yeah.
If you had just taken out the blue one and stayed there, you're just going to trade hits, and there's your 2.
Mm-hmm. There is a situation here in which the Heggestads have a difficult shot on their last, and they might not even score on it. So big shot if they can execute on this one for sure.
Kira Brunton with her final in the 4th.
Maybe a little tight, yeah. I don't mind putting a broom down here because you don't really want this to over curl.
Oh, this looks like you've got to hold her, else it's going to jam. Got to hold it. Excellent job of sweeping right there.
Yeah, that is a fantastic sweep. Really active. You know, I think when you play doubles, sometimes you're keen to, as a sweeper, even to kind of call line right out of the hand, right? If you can see the center line, you can kind of get an idea. And, you know, knowing the weight, and I think that was a case where they just reacted right away to make sure that that rock was just about as well as it could have been, because that is an ugly, ugly double, and you got exactly the kind of roll you wanted. So I guess a hit and flop here from the Heggestads.
Well, this is the final stone. I think they're taking on the redirect for 2.
Yeah, okay, they are. Okay. Yeah, it's... Yeah, I guess considering this ice, you're right. That does look like it is. That's a risky proposition for this team. But, you know, you're in this position, and you've got your power play. You only have one of these in the game. So make this, and then you're going to put yourself in a good shape. So
Absolutely. It's a risky proposition for anybody unless you're named Al Hackner.
Yeah, exactly. This is a classic Hackner double, isn't it? Classic Hackner double.
Heather Heggestad, final stone, and number 4. Needs to make this redirect, facing 2 to score a deuce with the power play, or else their hopes might be slim.
Yeah, really gotta sweep to miss this almost.
Gotta get it, just get a little piece of it, and it goes over the top as a steal of 1. And now it's a 5-0 lead for West Forget and Kira Brunton.
Hey Canada, head on down to Montana's and get the best of both worlds. Enjoy our 7-ounce sirloin aged for 50 days, flame grilled and served with your choice of 2 sides and onion rings. Just $25.99 every day. Plus, for a limited time, add a Canadian lobster tail to surf your turf. Only $10 more. Dive into this or our lobster spinach dip, lobster mac and cheese, and more. Only for a limited time. Come for the barbecue, stay for the flavor. Only at Montana's, Canada's home for barbecue.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
And we're back here, fifth end, and the Heggestads are looking at a big deficit of 5 points right now, and a couple shot choices there that might have made it a little bit easier to make sure they still had at least two that last end.
Yeah, it's also a big deficit considering that they've already used their power play, right? So, you can sometimes consider the power play if you're planning out your game as, a safe bet. I know that maybe now I'm saying this after the Heggestads gave up a point, but you can kind of budget it as like, okay, that might be able to get a couple points on that. So you kind of use that as throw that in your back pocket and say, we can definitely get our 2 points at some point in the game. But now, Forget and Brunton have theirs, and they could see how this end goes, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Heggestads do score one. They just play theirs, and you're certainly climbing a mountain. But a good little draw here from Heather to sort of get back into the swing of things in this end and see if you can't sort of keep more of these rocks above the tee. I think that's been their issue too so far this game, is just not having a ton of those rocks in those key areas that you can use later on.
Yeah, they've been just a skosh heavy on a few different things, and that kind of added up.
And maybe not exactly maybe it's T-line or something, but I think that especially to the middle three with West Forget, has been really good at just actively pushing their rocks back and controlling the front. This might be another good example. If it just comes over just slightly and touches that red, and it will, so that's another good example of that, where almost taking a more advantageous position again on this team, making them go after those blues, even though it's an ugly sort of stack. Yeah, I think Heggestads, they're also looking at, Heather's kind of saying, oh boy, can we just maybe slash that red one in? But no, I think you have to go over those blues.
Yeah, I don't think it's time to do that yet.
Mm-hmm.
You need to leave some granite around. So I would almost even consider corner freezing onto the blue right now, even not moving it too much, because you need a big score here. I mean, 2 is marginally enough right now, I think.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got to kind of play with a little bit of fire at this stage in the game.
It gets late early in doubles.
It's a good way of putting it.
But they are going to play to move him around just a little bit. It's coming down with about hack weight. It's also coming really close to the guard. It just skinnings by. Hit the one, move it back, and that is a very good outcome.
Yeah, that was a great shot. Great team shot, too. I think that they were just intentionally just playing sort of cheeky with that guard, knowing that if they just did wicket over, they would be maybe in a good spot. So, yeah, really nice shot from Cory. I like where that ended up. Again, here we are, these two red rocks, top 4, make Wes and Kira throw something difficult. Wouldn't surprise me if maybe just sort of maybe even clear the guard out or something and just start hitting stuff.
It feels not a bad idea right now. Also not a bad deal is freezing down to the second shot stone.
Right.
But I have a feeling we're going to see Wild West fire and forget here.
Nice. Good one.
He throws one right down Broadway. Looking to run blue on the blue. On the one, straight back, all the way through. Don't know if you helped yourself.
Yeah, close to making it really, really good. I like the play call. You know, at this point, you are just trying to manage the scoreboard, and you're quite close to just smacking all that out. So, yeah, I don't mind that call at all. Meanwhile, for the Heggestads, they are in a position where they're looking at this blue rock, knowing Forget's tendencies and saying, boy, he's just going to try to whack that at us, isn't he? Right? He could just sort of send that one right back in and get those reds moving. So you're in a position where you're maybe trying to protect a little bit.
Yeah, I think the call is a corner on that blue.
Mm-hmm.
Try to set up at the angle that any contact that West makes on it, unless he comes through the outturn side, which we saw him hit a 16th of an inch of a stone in the last game, so that's very much possible. But this, if you corner freeze it, it makes the run back no good, and then you're going to dare him to do it. That's the other thing.
I could be wrong. I was just trying to see exactly where the Heggestads have sort of set their broom down, but I'm curious to see exactly where this ends up. I thought they were maybe looking at just sort of drawing right into the reds. That was the last place they put the broom. And then you're right, maybe over curl and touch the blue, but
either place is really good. I'd like to have another one a little bit higher personally, but let's see where it ends up. This is a good thing where you have a column A and column B shot. So
the only thing with this shot is that you could eventually, if you hit it wrong, you could almost give them a bigger target, or if you're inside, you actually send that blue out sideways and make it easier.
Oh, you just wicking the guard. But you know what? Oh, boy.
It's not great.
It's not terrible, though.
Yeah. I mean, you gave them the open hit for the Reds here to really get them moving. I think there's a triple. Never mind, that's not great. I think they just sort of whack that. Well, I was more focused on that blue that was in the top 8, saying, okay, well, that's now buried. But I really think you could just, with the weight that Forget can throw, I think you just go there and just run into the catcher just like that. Yeah.
So you're saying you're gonna hit that one right there. That's the shot rock. Your shooter flies into the one on the side, and you send the other guy up and out to the front.
Yeah. I mean, you could be, if you hit this, I don't know how hard you need to hit it with how much action you really need, but you could maybe be sitting 3. I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with the stone that they're hitting. If it
might take out the one in the back.
Yeah, that might jam there, but I mean, as long as you hit this catcher on the edge of the 8, you're going to be in great shape. So.
All right, so he's made sure his firearms permit is valid, and here it comes.
Nice little heater here.
Looking to make them all fly. Says, heck, I can get down there and brush it too. There they go, 1, and that's all.
Yeah, he got a thicker part of it. You could obviously saw he came up and played it on the tight side. Yeah, tough spot to be for sure, but you're still in good shape. You know, you're controlling it. I think that the Heggestads have to try to come in and try to get. There's still a way that they could get maybe 2 or 3 out of it, but yeah, if they were just West was just a little bit farther outside, that's a game ender. I think, in my opinion, if they're able to make something like that, because just take all those reds out, but margins are quite slim, and Heggestads just need to take advantage of any kind of miss they get.
Yeah, but it missed to a pretty good spot.
It certainly did.
Almost frozen on for second shot, so. Interesting to see what the call is here. Coming around on the outturn. So they're going to look to draw back 4 here. Now, weight is going to be questionable. We haven't been out here all end. And Needs to stop and needs to grind. How far can West sweep it back? I think it's really close for second stone. I think it's blue by a hair.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it's blue, just considering it looks like the camera is maybe just a little bit north of the pin. So I think, yeah, that might just be blue. Anyways, for Kira, just that hit on that red. You know, you could almost, depends what kind of weight you have, but you can almost sort of bump that red back that was just thrown. So yeah, big shot here, just coming in with some soft weight. Sorry, go ahead. Kind of interrupted you there.
No, I'm good.
Okay, sorry.
So Kira Brunton, here's her final stone of end number 5. It's been good work by the Heggestads. It looks like they're have a good opportunity to score here, but if they can get around this guard and maybe push the red through.
Oh, decent amount of weight, I think, here.
Yep, we're going to be aggressive with it.
They've seen this so many times. So he's running a little straight on them, but it looks good.
Just needs to pick it. Oh, no, it picked it nowhere. Okay. So if you can make that stone go away, you have a shot at making 4.
Yeah, you really do. Yeah.
Well, 3, rather.
Or 3, yeah. Depends if they really think it's close or not.
Well, so if you're going to move it, it's close. If not, you're drawing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I like what Cory's looking at there. He's thinking that if you just throw the double and jam into the side there, you count your third one that way.
Right. Yeah. Good point.
Might actually be the easier shot.
Yeah. Yep. It might look a little ugly from the hack because, like, from the left hack, it'll be a little, you know, that rock that's in the top 8 will be a smidge buried. But yeah, geez, tough spot to be in. I think you have to play something like this right now.
Well, you don't. Yeah, I mean, you have a chance to score 3 when you're down 5. You need to come up with something right now. So they're thinking of a couple different things here.
Is there anything else? I don't know.
Well, if you come around that outturn side with just hack weight, you should, if you can push it through and hold your shooter there, you should make 3 that way.
Mm-hmm.
That's very precise.
Yeah, you're right.
With this dejected Swiffering on the way back, it looks like we're just drawing for 2.
Yeah, difficult part in the game. My thought is just to take the 2, just because of how difficult again that will look from the left hack. That's a tough little shot. It would have been my inkling to take the draw, just stick 2, but
final stone of the 5th. Heather Heggestad.
Just got to get right to the 4-foot here.
You know, they might be thinking they can spin it around a little bit, but we'll see.
Yeah, you could. You don't want to spin it too much, though. This looks pretty tight.
That's not going to help at all. It's going to be well, it wasn't second shot before, it's second shot now. And that is a score of 1, and that is handshakes. And Wes Forget and Kira Brunton are the winners of the Montana's North Bay doubles in the North Bay Granite Club. And Marty, they just the Heggestads just couldn't get anything going.
Yeah, I think they just struggled to find the right draw weight, and you know it's difficult in doubles. Obviously, we don't have that, but especially against a team that they were playing that were so proficient at those hits, and especially those big weight hits. You know, I think about Forget's double there, those reds, and you know there was lots of those opportunities that they had to sort of just whack those rocks out, and too bad they couldn't find draw weights. Yeah, I mean I think we had some deserving winners here. So congratulations to Kira Brunton and Wes Forget for the win.
Absolutely. We want to thank everyone who's joined us here at Curling Stadium all this weekend. We still have games from Beaumont going on right now. You can flip on over and catch those remaining games. But from here from North Bay, for Marty Thompson, Olivier Bonan Deschamps, I'm Dave Schmel. Thanks. Have a great day.